Greetings guys and gals, this is XIJABERWALKIX bringing you the best in SC Gaming, and today we have set 3 of SK Telecom T1 versus WeMade FOX. The series has tied up 1-1. If you haven't seen the first 2 games, you probably shouldn't be watching this video, so you should probably go watch those. Anyways, we have Midas at the top right as the red Terran, and at the bottom left we have Paralyze as the yellow Protoss playing for SKT1. And I don't know a lot about these players, although I do know that Paralyze has a freaking fro, which is pretty ridiculous. And right now I'm actually doing my laundry, and for some odd reason, even though I did my laundry earlier this week, I have like 3 loads full of wash, since the wash is a little bit smaller than the dryer. But I'm trying to debate to where I don't know if I'm going to use 1 dryer load or 2 dryer loads. It costs like a $125 each at CSU, so trying to debate that. If you guys have any insight about you know, drying clothes or laundry or anything, put it in the comments because I want to know. Supply depot going in the standard position underneath that command center for Midas, and it looks like Paralyze is going to go for his pylon by, but not underneath his geyser, and a gateway as well, so probably not going to go too much of it. They're just focusing on his fro there, man. They just love the fro. Don't know, people are screaming and everything, man. I love his fro too, although I don't think he's going to get too many ladies with that. Similar to going down for Paralyze as well. And it looks like, if we see correctly here, Midas has 1 loss, is 0-1 against Terran, 1-1 against Zerg, and 1-0 against Protoss. Has not played that much, is 2-2 in something. I don't know what that is, but also Core going down for Paralyze, and Rax going down for Midas. So both these players kind of unknown to me. Don't know if they're big names. Sorry if they are, but I think they're relatively new to the Proleague scene, at least to playing in matches a lot. They might have been on the team for a while or something. And it looks like we have a 1 Rax into CC for Midas. But yeah, so I think that both of these players are kind of new to starting. They might have been on the practice team or something like that. Maybe like Zergbong, who freaking won at the GSL2 somehow. I don't know. I can't watch Starcraft 2 as of now. One, because I don't want to pay $20 to get GSL VODs, and 2, because I know that all of these guys would just do work on all of the GSL guys, of the Starcraft 2 guys, and people are gonna say, well, Nada and Boxer, Nada didn't even get into the GSL 3, or Boxer lost to Zergbong. How did that happen? Well, you know why? Because those guys are freaking old now, relatively to Starcraft. Flash is 18. Flash is 18 years old, and so he's at the top of the game. If you want to tell me that Flash is going to lose to any one of those Starcraft 2 guys, I will argue with you from night till from dusk. From dawn to dusk. There we go. That's what I meant to say. Bunker at the front for Midas there, and there's the SKT1 coach. But yeah, so if you think that Flash is going to lose against anyone, he might at the first. He might lose at first when he first gets into it, but he just has so much macros, so much multitasking. There's no way once he gets into the game, once he really knows how to use the race, that he's going to lose to any of those GSL guys in a best of series, at least best of 5. Core was spinning, so we're probably going to see Dragoon speed, and the Dragoons are going to be attacking the bunker or the supply depot. Looks like we have an expansion for Paralyze as well, and then wait until the siege tanks gets out. The siege tanks will get out, get up siege mode, and then the Dragoons will have to back off. Really standard for PVZ, and going in for an attack here. What is he doing? Didn't even wait for the Dragoon range. He's taking hits on those Dragoons. Went for a run-by sort of with his Zealot. His Zealot's going to try to pick off the Marine as it, but no, it's not going to try to pick off the Marine as it spawns, and he's just going to go into the main and try to do some harassment there. He's able to pick off the SCV in his base as well, and Dragoon range is upgraded, so he's going to be able to take hits on that bunker. And looks like Midas is going to have to pull some probes to defend this. He's also going to have to pull probes in his main to defend against that Zealot. That Zealot's doing a ton of harassment. Probably going to go down to these 2 Marines. Almost able to pick off the Marine, and he's able to pick off the Marine. Able to pick off one of the Marines and still is alive in this base. Probably going to be able to recharge his shields and be a total total annoyance in his base. And wow, picking up another expansion is Paralyze, so he's going for a very high econ game, putting some early pressure on and just going for some high econ. Now he's three Dragoons at the front, and Midas needs his siege tanks and siege tanks soon, or else something bad's gonna happen. Now he's on that ridge, is able to fire from that ridge, but not entirely. He needs to wait for siege mode to give him that extra range. And once he has that, he's going to be able to deter those Dragoons, but not for a while. Able to get off one hit on those Dragoons, but not another one. Doing some good micro is Paralyzed, and Siege Mode's now upgraded. Get out of there! And one hit goes off on the Dragoons, and now they escape. Probably could have gone off without getting that hit on them, but just want to stay in there, try to get another hit, although he did not. It looks like we have 3 more gates going up and a robo, and he can do this because he's getting his extra base starport and control tower being built by Midas. But yeah, Paralyze can do the 4 gate with a robo just because he is getting that extra base. Racks floating out for Midas, probably going to land it and cut off that choke a little bit. And someone just messaged me on Skype, but I'm not going to answer it because they're being freaking annoying right now, and I'm doing a cast. So yeah, transferring his probes to that southern base is Paralyzed, and pretty soon he's going to have a ton of economy. He's going to be 1 base ahead of the Terran, which is kind of where you want to be as a Protoss player. I mean, you can be at even bases, but it's definitely more comfortable to be 1 base ahead, and that's kind of an obvious thing, but really Terran are the only race that can be behind in bases and still keep up in production, just as we saw with Flash versus, I want to say Flash versus Calm. Yeah, Calm went 5 hatch Hydra with like 4 bases or something like that, and he definitely did not have the same macro as Flash. Flash was just producing so much mech off of those 2 bases, doing a very nice job there. And looks like earlier we had an observatory, so he's going to have observers anytime soon. Dropship now out for Midas as well, and he's dropping and going to take that 3 o'clock base, going to secure it with one of those siege tanks. It looks like maybe a Marine as well. It looks like Paralyze is building that pylon wall to deter any type of vulture harass that he's going to see. Also built 2 pylons at the southern part of his nexus in his main to do the same thing. Also building a missile turret is Midas, and just being very careful. Doesn't want any type of drop happening on that 3 o'clock base. And I think that this is probably not going to be discovered by Paralyze very soon. The observer is probably going to go up to the main and go around to the natural, and finally maybe possibly go down to that 3 o'clock. Don't even know if he's going to go that far. Factory being built by Midas as well, so we are going to see more of a heavy econ late game, and this game is going to go past the mid game into the late game unless we see a really fast timing push by Paralyze, but I don't really think he's gutsy enough to do that. This is 1-1, and so this game is very important because really all they have left to put up is fantasy, and well, obviously they can't put fantasy up next because they need 1 of every race, so I don't know who's gonna play. Well, actually I guess they don't need 1 of every race for the thing, because they played best in Bisu, so maybe they changed that rule. They used to have to play 1 from every race in the first 4 sets, I believe, or first 4 sets. So that's why they were hurting, because they didn't have a good Zerg player. Because they had Zergbong, I believe. They have Hyuk, who's actually doing very well. I mean, it's kind of outdated to say he Hyuked himself, even though I do that sometimes, just so used to call her saying that. But Hyuk is actually a pretty decent Zerg player now, especially with, what's his name? Played for CJ Entis, played for CJ Effort retiring, and a lot of Zergs kind of going to Starcraft 2. So not a lot of good Zerg players. Actually, no one that can compete with Jadong now that Effort has retired. And you know that one guy who we don't talk about anymore also is no longer playing, and those other 2 guys who we don't talk about anymore, the 2 guys that are connected, aren't playing anymore. So yeah, pretty much no good Zergs left in the Pro League besides Jadong. Jadong really just rules that entire scene. Cannon's morphing in to the natural just for quick defense, and he is going Arbiters. I like that play. You guys know I like Arbiters rather than Carriers. I think that Carriers versus Terran, very risky, and I think that Arbiter's play is just much better. A ton of Dragoons by his base, so he does have that going for him. He also is picking up another base at the 6, so he's going to be at 4 bases, which is very good for a Protoss player. turrets are out at that 3 o'clock, so I don't think any kind of drop is going to happen. Looks like he's building a command center. Does have a science facility as well. That CC is probably going to float up to the 1 o'clock position around. Does have a Wraith. He has had that Wraith for a little while, probably to deter any type of shuttle play, is what I'm assuming. He does have a lot of tanks, and so these tanks are going to come into huge play. We're going to see if he does siege up at the right time, he's going to be able to do a ton of damage. But if he unsieges and tries to move out and Paralyze moves in, then he's going to be able to do a ton of damage. We do see a Stargate, obviously, for those Arbiters. So Arbiters are coming out very shortly. Does have pretty decent saturation at all of his bases and a huge siege line, though, also floating his building, so that's going to be very, very annoying for Paralyze, and we'll see how he's able to do this. So far we see not too much of an exciting game, but good macro by both players. You know, what separates them from the players like Flash, Bisu, I'd say Stork, and Jaedong is like